Let's be real, getting U.S. citizenship feels like winning the lottery. But what if I told you that for some Asians, the line just got shorter? Yup, a few countries quietly climbed America's fast-track list for citizenship in 2025, and no one's talking about it. While others wait a decade, people from these 7 nations are getting approvals faster, visas sooner, and green cards in record time. But why them? What's the secret? And could your country be next? Stay locked in, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which Asian passports hold the golden ticket to the American dream this year. If you're interested in this topic, hit the like button, subscribe, and type "interested" in the comments, and I will give you a heart. 7. Indonesia. For years, people from Indonesia looked at U.S. citizenship like it was a mountain too high to climb. Endless paperwork, long waits, and unpredictable interviews. It always felt like a dream reserved for someone else. But quietly, without much noise, 2025 changed that. This year, something big is happening. According to the U.S. Migration Trends report, Indonesians are getting citizenship approvals 18% faster than they did just a few years ago. It's not a rumor, it's data, and it's reshaping thousands of lives. Take the story of Fahar, a 33-year-old English teacher from Surabaya. 3 years ago, he moved to Austin, Texas under a cultural exchange program. He planned to stay for 2 years, teach Indonesian language and culture, then go home. But as demand for teachers grew, his visa was extended. His American school helped him apply for a green card, and now he's waiting for his citizenship ceremony. When asked how it changed his life, Fahar said something simple: "I can finally plan a future that's stable. No more visa anxiety, no more counting days before renewal." That's what this new trend really gives people: peace of mind. But here's the twist. This easier pathway didn't happen by chance. The U.S. sees Indonesia as an essential partner in Asia. With its massive population, democracy, and strategic location, Indonesia is now part of Washington's long-term plan. The more collaboration they build through education, trade, and migration, the more both countries win. That's why in 2025, more student and work visas are being approved for Indonesians than ever before. The U.S. Embassy in Jakarta even expanded its interview slots by 27%, prioritizing applicants in tech, healthcare, and education. Now imagine what this means for you if you're watching from Bandung or Jakarta right now. It means the doors are wider. If you've got the skills, English proficiency, or even a family connection in the US, this is your moment. You can apply for study programs, professional visas, or family sponsorships with real hope of success. Because here's the bigger truth. America needs people like you, people who show up, work hard, and build a future from scratch. And the system is finally recognizing that. So what about honest conversations with other owning entrepreneurs, whether it's people like us or the bigger bag? Fahar's story isn't rare anymore. It's becoming common. And what that means for Indonesians is simple: stability. Imagine owning a home, building savings, and giving your kids access to free education and healthcare, all because you made that one bold step. So yes, getting U.S. citizenship is still a process, it still takes patience, but in 2025, for Indonesians, it's not just a dream anymore, it's a clear, walkable path. And the lives it's changing, you can see them smiling, settling, and sending hope back home every single day. If you're Indonesian and believe your time has come, type "my turn" in the comments, because for the first time in years, your path to the American dream isn't getting harder, it's finally getting real. 6. Thailand. If you ask most Thais what they think about becoming a U.S. citizen, they'll probably smile politely and say, "That's for the lucky ones." But 2025 is proving something different. For thousands of Thai workers, caregivers, and students, what once looked like a faraway dream is slowly becoming a reachable goal. Here's the real story. According to the latest U.S. Department of Homeland Security report, Thai nationals saw a 22% rise in successful green card applications between 2023 and 2025, one of the highest jumps in Southeast Asia. Why? Because America's economy is desperate for dependable hands, and Thai workers have built a reputation for exactly that: reliability. You see, there's a quiet network of Thai immigrants across the U.S., from Los Angeles to Chicago to Houston. They work in nursing homes, restaurants, logistics, and small businesses that keep daily life running smoothly. For years, most of them stayed under temporary work visas, scared that one bad year could send them home. But now, things are shifting. Let's talk about Mayura, a 29-year-old from Chiang Mai. She arrived in the U.S. as part of a cultural exchange program for hospitality staff. She spent nights washing dishes, folding sheets, and cleaning hotel rooms. But her work ethic caught attention. Her employer petitioned for her under the H-2B visa, and 2 years later, she transitioned to a permanent role. Today, she's applying for citizenship through employment sponsorship. It still feels unreal, she said. I used to send money home to help my parents. Now I'm saving for their plane tickets to visit me. That's the power of what's changing. For Theasa like Mayura, it's not just about earning dollars, it's about earning permanence. And it's not just isolated success stories. The US has expanded partnerships with Thailand in education and healthcare, allowing more Thai nurses, medical aides, and students to enter through professional visas. The 2025 Bilateral Workforce Initiative even created a pilot program where Thai healthcare workers can train and apply directly for green cards, no lottery required. Now let's talk about what that means for you. If you're watching from Bangkok or Phuket and wondering whether America still welcomes immigrants, the answer is yes, especially those who are skilled, consistent, and loyal. The pathway is smoother than it was 5 years ago. Many Thai professionals now go from student visa to work permit to permanent residency within 6 years. Imagine what that means for your life. Stable income, career growth, free education for your children, and full access to healthcare. The kind of life where you no longer count visa days, you count memories, graduations, birthdays, milestones, all without fear of expiration dates. But then, there's a deeper reason behind this shift. The United States and Thailand have been strengthening ties for decades, especially in defense and medical exchange. And as America faces worker shortages, it's not just filling jobs. It's rewarding commitment. Thais who stay, contribute, and grow within the system are the ones seeing results. So if you've been sitting on your dream, waiting for a perfect time, this might be it. Because while others hesitate, people like Mayura are already building the life they once thought was out of reach. If you believe hard work should finally pay off, type stability in the comments. Because for Thais in 2025, U.S. citizenship isn't a fantasy anymore, it's a reward for persistence. And for those brave enough to start, the future's already waiting on the other side of that visa. 5. Nepal. If you grew up in Nepal, the idea of becoming a U.S. citizen might have once sounded like a fairy tale, something reserved for the wealthy, the connected, or the incredibly lucky. But in 2025, that story is changing fast. For many Nepalis, the American dream is no longer something whispered about, it's being lived. Here's what's really happening. The U.S. Diversity Visa Program, DV lottery, often called the Green Card Lottery, is giving Nepalese one of the highest per capita chances of being selected in all of Asia. Out of roughly 125,000 applicants last year, more than 3,500 Nepalese were selected. A success rate significantly higher than applicants from larger countries like India or China. For a small nation, those numbers are life-changing. But it's not just about luck, it's also about relationships. The United States and Nepal have quietly strengthened their diplomatic ties since the 2015 earthquake, with US agencies investing heavily in development, healthcare, and education. And that goodwill has spilled over into immigration policy. Take the story of Sanjay, a 26-year-old from Pokhara. He applied for the diversity visa lottery in 2021. He didn't expect much. He was working as a field technician, earning barely enough to support his parents. But in 2022, his name appeared in the selection list. He still remembers crying when he saw it. Today, he's working in Dallas, Texas as a licensed electrician, earning 10 times what he did back home. It's not just money, Sanjay says. It's the feeling of finally being secure. I can plan my future. That's the word that keeps repeating among Nepali immigrants this year, security. Because once they enter the US through the DV lottery or family sponsorship, their path to citizenship is far more straightforward than many realize. After 5 years of permanent residency, they can apply for citizenship. No special privileges, no shortcuts, just a clear, achievable path. But then, here's what most people miss. Nepal's small population actually works in its favor. With fewer applicants compared to India or the Philippines, the odds of success through the lottery are higher. And since the US has no major political or security tensions with Nepal, the immigration process tends to be smoother. In other words, Nepalis are seen as low-risk, high-value applicants. And that's where things get powerful for everyday people, because this opportunity doesn't just change one life, It changes entire families. When a Nepali worker earns U.S. residency, it often leads to family reunification. Parents get medical support, children access better schools, and siblings find new opportunities abroad. One person's win becomes a family's transformation. Imagine going from a rented room in Kathmandu to owning a small house in Houston or Seattle. Imagine being able to send money home without worrying about exchange rates. Imagine giving your children the kind of education that opens global doors. That's what U.S. citizenship is doing for hundreds of Nepali families right now. And yes, it still takes work, from paperwork to patience. But in 2025, America's doors are open wider for Nepalis than they've been in decades. The difference now is awareness. Those who act, apply, and prepare properly are seeing results. The message is simple. You don't have to be born rich to build a rich life. You just have to know where the opportunity lies. And right now, that opportunity is knocking on Nepal's door. If you're watching from Nepal, or you know someone who dreams of working and living in the US, comment, "My time is now," because in 2025, it truly might be. The US is opening new doors, and this time, the key might be in your hands. 4. South Korea. When people think about South Korea, they picture K-pop, Samsung, and world-class innovation. But here's what few realize. South Koreans now have one of the smoothest paths to US citizenship in all of Asia. And no, it's not about money or luck. It's about education, strategy, and timing. The connection between Washington and Seoul runs deep. They've been military allies for over 70 years, and that alliance quietly extends into immigration. The US trusts South Koreans. It's that simple. From engineers in Silicon Valley to PhD students in New York, the approval rate for South Korean applicants under work-based and education visas is among the top 3 in the region. Take Min Jae, a 27-year-old computer engineer from Busan. He came to the US on an F1 student visa in 2018 to study AI development. He landed a tech internship at a startup in California, which later sponsored his H-1B work visa. Fast forward to 2025, he's applying for his green card, already pre-approved thanks to his employer's track record and Korea's trade status. "I never thought it would happen this fast," he said. "Back home, I'd be competing for years. Here, I just focused on what I'm good at." That's what makes South Koreans stand out. Skill plus structure. The average South Korean applicant enters with a clear plan: study, work, contribute, and stay, and the system rewards it. According to U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USIS, South Korean professionals now make up nearly 8% of all Asian work-based green card approvals in 2025, a record high. But then here's the twist. The ease isn't just about paperwork. It's about global trust. The US sees South Korea as a model nation. Democratic, stable, tech-driven, and disciplined. That reputation gives Korean applicants fewer security checks, faster processing, and higher acceptance rates in employment-based and family categories alike. Now let's talk about what this means for the viewer, especially if you're Korean or part of a Korean family abroad. This trend means stability and opportunity are no longer distant dreams. Once a Korean applicant gets a work-based visa, their path to citizenship is often predictable, around 5 to 7 years, from entry to oath. That's shorter than most Asian countries by a wide margin. Imagine what that stability can do for your life. It means home ownership, long-term business investments, and access to US healthcare and education without fear of visa expiration. Parents can finally plan for their children's futures with certainty, not countdown clocks. But the most powerful improvement isn't financial, it's emotional. Every immigrant knows the silent stress of uncertainty. For South Koreans, that anxiety is fading. There's a sense of control now, a feeling that the system isn't working against them anymore, but with them. Bisu, a nurse from Daegu, put it perfectly. "Back home, I worked long hours for little pay. In the US, I work hard too, but here, my effort builds a future." She recently received her permanent residency through a healthcare sponsorship. Her next step, citizenship. "It's not just for me," she said, "it's for my son, so he'll never have to start from zero like I did." That's the core of South Korea's quiet success story. Families securing futures, one visa at a time. So, if you're watching this from Seoul, Incheon, or Busan, wondering if your skills could open American doors, 2025 might be your best window yet. The US is still facing worker shortages, and South Koreans are already filling that gap with skill, trust, and excellence. If you're a Korean and ready to build your life where your skills are valued, type "My future starts now" in the comments, because for South Koreans, US citizenship in 2025 isn't luck, it's preparation finally meeting opportunity. 30. Malaysia. For years, Malaysians saw the United States as a faraway dream. Exciting, but complicated. Visa interviews felt intimidating. And citizenship? Nearly impossible. But 2025 is rewriting that story in a big way. Today, Malaysians are quietly becoming one of the most successful Asian groups in securing U.S. citizenship thanks to a mix of education, language, and trust. Here's what's happening behind the scenes. The United States and Malaysia have expanded cooperation in technology, trade, and education. That partnership has directly influenced migration. The U.S. State Department's 2025 report shows that visa approvals for Malaysians have jumped nearly 20% compared to pre-pandemic levels. Why? Because Malaysians are viewed as low risk, well-educated, and culturally adaptable. 3 traits that the U.S. immigration system loves. But numbers don't tell the whole story, people do. Take Ainul, a 32-year-old pharmacist from Penang. In 2016, she took a chance on an exchange program in Houston. She worked long shifts, studied on weekends, and lived on instant noodles to save money. When her contract ended, her employer filed for her green card under a healthcare shortage visa. Today, she's a U.S. citizen, she owns a townhouse in Dallas, and just brought her parents over to visit for the first time. It's surreal, she said. I used to serve American tourists in Georgetown. Now, I'm serving patients in Texas. That's the quiet transformation that's happening across thousands of Malaysian families. From Kuala Lumpur to Johor Bahru, the American dream is no longer fiction. But then, here's the real turning point. Language and education. Malaysia's strong English proficiency has become its greatest weapon. Over 70% of Malaysian applicants pass their visa and citizenship interviews on the first try, one of the highest success rates in Asia. That confidence breaks barriers faster than paperwork ever could. And the pipeline is getting wider. More Malaysian students are entering American universities under flexible visa policies, and a record number of them are staying through employment programs. U.S. companies now actively recruit Malaysian graduates in STEM fields, healthcare, and finance because they're trained in English, tech-savvy, and globally minded. Here's what that means for ordinary Malaysians watching right now. You already have what the system wants. You speak the language, understand the culture, and have one of the region's most stable passports. Combine that with skill or education, and your odds of long-term residency or citizenship skyrocket. Imagine the difference that could make. A stable salary in US dollars, free education for your kids, the ability to travel, invest, and retire with freedom, no more worrying about work renewals or visa deadlines, just peace. The kind that lets you plan 5, 10, even 20 years ahead. Daniel, a mechanical engineer from Kuala Lumpur, described it perfectly. In Malaysia, I work 12 hours a day and still struggle to save. In the US, I work 8 hours and I'm finally living. He's 2 years away from citizenship, and he already bought a car and a condo. It's not luck, he said, it's timing. 2025 was my window, and I took it. That's the bigger message here, timing. The post-pandemic American economy is rebuilding fast, but it needs skilled people to keep up. Malaysia fits that gap perfectly, disciplined, educated, and globally competitive. So, if you're Malaysian and you've ever dreamed of starting over abroad, this might be your moment to act. The doors aren't closing, they're opening wider than they've been in a decade. If you believe your education, work ethic, or English skills can take you further than you ever imagined, type "all ready to fly" in the comments, because for Malaysians in 2025, the American dream isn't a fantasy, it's a plan finally coming together. 2. India. For decades, Indians have dreamed of America, not just for its skyscrapers or freedom, but for opportunity. And in 2025, that dream has never been closer to reality. The United States and India now share one of the strongest immigration pipelines in the world, and it's transforming the lives of millions of Indian families faster than anyone expected. Here's the hard truth. Indians aren't just moving to America, they're shaping it. In fact, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS, reports that Indians now make up over 15% of all new green card holders in 2025. Second, only to Mexico. That means hundreds of thousands of Indians every year are stepping into permanent residency and soon after, full citizenship. But what makes their path so unique? 3 things: education, employment, and endurance. Take Arav, a 34-year-old software engineer from Hyderabad. He came to the US in 2016 under an H-1B work visa, coding for a Silicon Valley startup. For years, he sent money home while waiting for his green card. It finally arrived in 2023. Now, just 2 years later, he's preparing for his citizenship interview. When I asked him what changed, he smiled and said, "The rules didn't change. I did. I stopped doubting myself." That's the real shift happening across Indian communities in 2025, confidence. They've mastered the system. Indian applicants dominate every major immigration channel: tech jobs, advanced degrees, family reunification, and entrepreneurship. And because of the US-India trade partnership and talent shortage in STEM fields, many applicants are getting their approvals faster than ever before. But then, here's where it gets even more interesting. America's economy is facing a tech talent crisis. By 2026, it's estimated that 1.2 million US tech jobs will remain unfilled. And Washington knows it, so who's stepping in to fill the gap? Indian professionals. In fact, more than 72% of all H-1B visa holders in 2025 are from India. That's not coincidence, that's dominant. Now let's talk about what this means for families, because this isn't just a career story, it's a generational one. The children of Indian immigrants are topping US schools, leading startups, and earning degrees from Ivy League universities. Citizenship isn't just a document for them, it's a launchpad. And for parents like Arav, it's the peace of mind that their kids will never face the same uncertainty they did. Imagine what that could mean for you. Living in a place where your skill is valued at its true worth, where your paycheck matches your effort, where you can own a home, build wealth, and retire with dignity. That's the power of what's unfolding for Indians right now. But it's not just about individuals, it's about reputation. India has become America's most trusted talent source, and that trust is paying off. Indian doctors, engineers, and scientists now make up some of the largest professional immigrant communities in the US. Hospitals, tech firms, and research labs depend on them. And Washington knows it. That's why Indian visa backlogs are finally shrinking after years of stagnation. Still, here's the golden insight most people miss. 2025 is a window, not a guarantee. The US government is reviewing its employment-based visa quotas, and immigration reforms are coming. That means those who apply now will move faster through the system than those who wait another year. Timing is everything. Meera, a nurse from Kerala, said it best: "In India, I work to survive. In America, I work to live." She's now a permanent resident, saving for her first home in Florida. Her story isn't rare anymore. It's the story of thousands. So if you're Indian and still hesitating, remember this: the system is finally working in your favor. The bridge has already been built. All that's left is to cross it. If you believe this is the moment for Indian professionals and families to finally claim their place in America's future, type "taking the leap" in the comments, because in 2025, India isn't just contributing to the US, it's helping build it. 1. The Philippines. Let's be honest. If there's one Asian country that has poured its soul, sweat, and sacrifice into the American dream, it's the Philippines. Nurses, caregivers, teachers, engineers. Filipinos aren't just living in America, they're holding it up. And in 2025, despite rumors of visa bans and policy changes, one truth is louder than all the noise: the United States needs Filipinos now more than ever. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, nearly 1 in 20 healthcare workers in America is Filipino. That's hundreds of thousands of nurses, caregivers, and medical technicians keeping hospitals alive every single day. And that number isn't shrinking, it's growing. As America faces a healthcare worker shortage of nearly 2 million positions by 2026, the Philippines has become its most reliable ally. But this story isn't just about statistics, it's about people. Take Grace, a 37-year-old nurse from Iloilo. She moved to California in 2015 through a work visa program. For nearly a decade, she worked double shifts, often missing holidays with her family back home. In 2024, her green card was approved, and now she's weeks away from taking her oath as a US citizen. "It's not just for me," she said, holding back tears. "It's for my parents, who believed I could build a better life somewhere they've never been." Grace's story mirrors thousands like hers. Filipinos who came to America not for luxury, but for legacy. They send money home, fund education for siblings, and carry an entire nation's hope in their paychecks. In 2025 alone, Filipino Americans are expected to send more than $13 billion, 0 cents, back to the Philippines, sustaining millions of families and local economies. But then, here's the twist. Washington has been debating immigration restrictions due to visa overstays, and Filipinos are often caught in that conversation. The rumor mill has even whispered about a visa freeze. But the truth, a full ban is nearly impossible, because the US doesn't just value Filipino workers, it depends on them. Hospitals, military bases, shipping ports, and schools would collapse without their presence. And the US knows that. That's why, behind closed doors, policies are shifting toward integration, not exclusion. Programs that once only offered temporary work visas are now adding direct-to-green card pathways. In fact, the Filipino Nurse Integration Act, reintroduced in 2025, proposes permanent residency for nurses with 5 years of continuous US service. Quietly, the government is making it easier for those already serving the system to stay for good. Now let's talk about what that means for you. For every Filipino watching this who's been thinking, is it still worth it? The answer is yes. Because even if the system feels hard, the results are real. Citizenship means security. It means no more counting visa days, no more wondering if your contract will be renewed. It means the ability to buy a house, bring your family, and retire in peace. And beyond the paperwork, there's something deeper: recognition. America is finally seeing what the world already knows, that the Filipino work ethic is unmatched. From Silicon Valley coders to New York nurses, Filipinos are no longer just filling gaps, they're setting the standard. Miguel, an engineer from Cebu now living in Texas, put it best. We're not just working for America, we're helping rebuild it. He just became a citizen after 8 years of grinding through visa renewals. When I held that passport, it didn't feel like I changed countries, he said. It felt like the country finally accepted me. That's what this moment is about: belonging. After decades of serving, sacrificing, and striving, Filipinos in 2025 are no longer asking for a chance. They've earned it. So yes, the process still takes time. Yes, the paperwork is long, but for Filipinos, the road to US citizenship has never been clearer. The system knows your value, the economy feels your absence, and the people, from doctors to teachers to soldiers, already trust your heart. If you're proud to be part of a nation that works hard, loves deeply, and never gives up, type Filipino pride in the comments. Because 2025 isn't just the year Filipinos chase the American dream, it's the year America admits it can't dream without them.